NCTV presents this program in color.
The men's basketball team takes on the Carson-Newman Eagles. We have the highlights.
Triathlon coach Marty Owens tells us what's ahead for the up-and-coming team.
And we'll look at how Newberry College athletes are making a difference in the lives of children.
All this and the latest news in Newberry athletics coming up on Wolves Weekly.
From the Langford Center Studios at Newberry College, this is Wolves Weekly. I'm Miguel Hernandez.
And I'm Marissa Boykin. As the basketball season comes to a close, the men's team has faced challenges. Coming into last week, the Wolves were on a 5-game losing streak. At Wingate on Wednesday night, they roared back from a 36-29 halftime deficit. Only two come up short at the buzzer 68-66. The Wolves were back in Eleazer Arena for a senior day on Saturday, where they took on the Eagles of Carson-Newman. Brian Bird filed this report.
On a competitive Saturday afternoon inside Eleazer Arena, the Newberry College Wolves battled conference foe Carson-Newman University in a hard-fought matchup that came down to a second half for us. The Wolves showed grit early, trailing baskets and defensive stops in a tightly contested first half. Newberry worked the perimeter, attacked the glass, and stayed within striking distance throughout the opening 20 minutes. But at the break, the Wolves trailed by 5, 29-24, close enough to keep momentum within reach. Coming out of the halftime, Carson-Newman found another gear. The Eagles pushed the pace, capitalizing on key possessions and built separation with a 36-point second half performance. Despite Newberry's continued fight and defensive pressure, the Wolves ultimately fell 65-55. Individually, there were strong performances. Houston Jones sparked the offense, finishing with 18 points and drilling 6 threes and bumped 6 threes. Each shot kept Newberry within reach and kept the engaging home crowd. Closing it down added 10 points and 4 rebounds, contributing on both sides of the ball. As a team, Newberry grabbed 32 total rebounds, battling on the boards all afternoon. The Wolves shot 50% from the free throw line, a stat that they'll look to improve as the postseason. With the result, Newberry moves to 10-16 overall and 6-14 South Atlantic Conference play. Now the focus shifts forward. The Wolves return home for the final regular season home game on Wednesday, February 25th at 7:30. A final opportunity to defend their home court, celebrate seniors' leadership, and build momentum heading into the closing stretch of the season. Be there and support the Wolves and finish strong.
Houston Jones in the ball game. Timeout on the floor.
Tell him that, Johnny, you can't even do that.
Shut the fuck up. You just said he's weird. You do a flip?
Johnny has seen me do a flip.
You can do a flip. I mean, you gotta jump after that.
And so the Wolves lose to Carson-Newman 65-55 despite some strong performances. Houston Jones scored 18 points with 6 3-pointers, and Malachi Strimlow and Mekhi Rivers each added 8 points. Newberry had 32 rebounds and shot 50% from the free throw line. With their 7th consecutive loss, the Wolves go 10-16 overall and 6-14 in the conference. They'll play Catawba in the final regular season at home on Wednesday at 7:30. And Miguel, after those strong kind of individual performances, it's kind of hard to take those kind of losses.
You know, it is kind of hard to take those kind of losses, but it makes a difference knowing that you prepared and you put in 110% effort playing those games.
Right, and I know you speak to the assistant coach on how they prepared to do this, and how did that go?
Yeah, it went well. I spoke with the assistant basketball coach, Jelani Johnson, and he shared with me some key points. You know, one of the ways they approached this game was to contain their star shooter with Carson-Newman. His average is 25 points, so containing him, they lowered that average to 11.
That is insane.
That is insane, and it got him close, but not close enough. But despite that, they have 2 more games, so they're trying to leave off with a good note and have an even better season for the seniors, Well,
honestly, I feel like if they just keep on working as a team and practices, that they can do that. So we'll see how that goes next week.
Definitely, yeah. So be sure to follow in with them. We want to support our team. And don't forget, both men's and women's teams will have their final home game of the season on Wednesday against Catawba. The women's game is at 5:30 and the men tip off at 7:30. And we'll have the summaries of those games for you on next week's program. Wolves Weekly will continue in a moment.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Some people judge a book by its cover, and if you're not what people are looking for, you're kind of like a reject.
School, it feels like everyone's staring at me, and I'm just kind of not really a person.
It just feels hard today. Nobody was listening to me.
Try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
It may not be one of Newberry's larger teams, but the Triathlon team has made a mark on its own in Newberry athletics, with several of its players competing in championships and become known as up-and-coming program in Division II. Here's to tell us a little bit more about the Triathlon team and what's ahead, head coach Marty Owens. Coach Owens, welcome to Wolves Weekly.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
For those who aren't familiar with Triathlon, what events do you prepare your team for?
Our championship season's in the fall. We do 5 races consisting of a 750-meter swim, 20-kilometer bike, and a 5K run, or basically just under a half a mile swim, 12.5-mile bike, and 3.1-mile run.
Okay. What's the biggest challenge your team has faced this year?
We had a couple injuries when they got back, so we didn't always compete with the full roster. But I would say probably the biggest challenge is balancing all the training for the 3 disciplines with their academics.
Okay. And how do you try to prevent injuries on the team?
Using my background in exercise science and exercise physiology, I've always used the motto of train smarter, not harder.
Okay. And what kind of levels do you have among the team members, and how do they affect the balance of performance on the team?
Our current roster, everybody came here with triathlon experience. Now it varies. Some of them may not have come in with what we call draft legal. They were just doing regular triathlons. But I think, it's a good balance on the team, and some are better in certain events and they balance each other out and they help each other.
Okay. And what's your plans for next season?
One, compete as a whole team every time, make sure everybody stays healthy, and qualify more athletes for nationals. Like this year we had 3, but 2 years prior, we took 5, so hopefully get 5 or 6 to nationals next year.
Okay. And if you had a young person who was considering being a triathlete, what advice would you give them now?
Have fun with it. It's not a well-known sport. I still have people ask me about the team, and then they realize, wait, they're swimming, biking, and running in the same event. I would tell them to just have fun with it.
Okay. Are there any weather conditions that you don't practice in?
Well, obviously thunder and lightning, we can't go in the pool, but we have our own training building. So if it's really bad, they can get on their bikes on the indoor trainers. So we have what we call smart trainers, and they can put their bikes on that, and they can actually ride different courses. The trainers actually change resistance through a platform online.
Okay. Looking back on last season, what stands out?
Obviously qualifying 3 for NCAA championships. We moved up 2 spots in Division II from last year. I think the other highlight is the way they perform academically. Last semester the team had a GPA of 3.92. 3 of them were academic All-American honorable mention, and that takes you have to have a 3.5 and compete at nationals. And the team got the All-Academic honor roll as well.
Okay. And what did you think the team did well last year?
I think every time they compete with heart. They go after it all the time. Obviously the academics are a highlight. But I always tell them too, because we're almost all international, that I probably learned just as much from them than they do from me.
Okay. And what do you think needs improvement from last season?
No, definitely not work ethic. They're working hard. If they keep improving, we focus a lot on our swim right now because that's vital in the draft legal. So I think we're focusing more on our swim to get that faster.
Okay. Coach Owens of the triathlon team, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Wolves Weekly will continue in a moment.
I surrender.
All right, pal. Get ready for the day, buddy.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
What's that?
Do we have a gun?
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
The freedom to live in safety. That's an American dream.
You're watching NCTV-Newberry.
When you think about Newberry College athletics, you might think about games won or lost, or about conference standings or playoff hopes. But there's more to being a student athlete than games and practices. Newberry's athletic teams also take time to give back to the community. And one of these efforts is through Team Impact programs, which connect student athletes with local children and their families. Our team took some time last week at a closer look.
I'll give a quick synopsis of what Team Impact is. Team Impact is it's a nonprofit organization that pairs somebody that has an illness with an athletic team of their choice of the sport that they would love to be able to play. And with Landon having astrocytoma, a type of brain cancer, obviously the condition is not something that you choose, but obviously he wakes up every day with I'll say every time we see him with a smile on his face. And he's been able to overcome a lot, and we hope that he can continue to overcome all those obstacles.
Landon is normally a really shy kid, and he's not given a lot of opportunities. He's put in a bubble for medical reasons, so he doesn't get the opportunity to play sports or participate in group activities for the fear of getting hurt and not being able to control what happens around him. Being able to come here and allowing him to shoot the basketball, and they play with him like he's playing an actual game. It gives him confidence. And I think he's needed that confidence, especially to overcome his last battle, which was with brain cancer. So I think that the program significantly helped him overcome the obstacles that he faced during that challenge. It just makes it official. When we came to the program, the 4 boys that were mentioned, Shane and Drew and Brent and James, they've really taken Landon on as like a little brother. They like to torment them. Playing video games, except for Drew because he's anti-video games. But Drew comes over and hangs out with us, and he goes to his little brother's soccer games, and he's part of the family.
My name is Drew Robinson. I've been here for well over 5 years now. I'm getting my second master's. Basketball is a big passion of mine, and I'm glad I got to meet Landon through this. Coach Jelani set us up and told us we're going to be working with Team Impact, and he introduced Landon to the team, and we've just been glad to have him here. He's more of a Fortnite player. I don't play video games.
I don't play Fortnite anymore.
Not anymore? What you play now?
Like Rocket League.
Rocket League? I'm not good at Rocket League. He's good at Rocket League.
You don't even know how to play.
Exactly. That's why I'm not good at it. Mainly through basketball. That's usually how I meet all my friends, now that I'm thinking about it. This sport just introduces us to so many different people from all over the place. And we're glad that we got to meet Landon from that too.
It was a little rocky at first, and I think that was because it was new to this school, so they weren't sure how to navigate it. But the Team Impact side of it, Brittany, she'll do monthly check-ins with me, ask about Landon. There's a genuine concern about his well-being and if he's actually enjoying the program, because their goal is to partner kids that have life-threatening conditions with a program that they normally would not be able to participate in, to have that positive impact in their life. So now I think that we are going to have a great working relationship moving forward. I don't think we're going to get kicked out of the program. I think they're stuck with us for a while.
We've had Landon here the last year or so, but to finally officially become a Wolf, I think it's good for the team and for Landon. Hopefully we'll be seeing him around the team for years to come.
You going to be there too, shooting some hoops?
Yeah, I think he's going to come to our next 2 home games, so hopefully we'll have him out there and introduce him like we always do, and then hopefully it'll be some good luck to us.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Love the hustle, Cliff. Who are you?
Your lungs.
We're quite proud of you.
Even though you quit smoking years ago, you may be at risk for lung cancer.
Okay. Well, with the routine screening, you can detect it early when it's more curable.
Sounds good, guys. Can I get a little space here?
Biologically, no.
Okay.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Come on! Go, Diane! Yeah, keep it going! Yeah! Go, honey!
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the-right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane! Woo! You got this!
This is Wolves Weekly. I'm Marissa Boykin along with Miguel Hernandez, and now it's time to get you caught up on all the action over the last week. The women's basketball team was at Wingate on Wednesday, coming back from a 41-24 deficit at halftime to outscore Wingate in the third quarter, only to lose 68-59. Mary Kate Kent posted 18 points and Raquel Brown added 13 in the Wolves' attempt. On Saturday at Eleazer Arena, against Carson-Newman, they fared no better, losing 79-48 after Carson-Newman dominated the second half. The team is now 13-13 overall, 7-13 in the conference, and their final regular season home game is against Catawba Wednesday at 5:30.
The baseball team had a profitable week, dominating Erskine 9-1 at Due West on Tuesday, only allowing one run and 8 hits while building an early lead. On Friday, they took both games of a doubleheader against UVA Wise at the Smith Road Complex. The Wolves took the first game 15-1 and the second game 9-1. The Cavaliers got revenge on Saturday, scoring 3 runs in the first inning and 2 in the second. Newberry fought back and got within 1, but stranded the trying run at the end of the game and lost 7-6. The Wolves are 9-5 on the season, and they'll next face Francis Marion at the Smith Road Complex on Tuesday.
In softball, the Wolves split a Wednesday doubleheader at USC Aiken. Despite drawing 7 walks in the first game, they lost 7-4 but came back to dominate 8-0 in the second game. Natalie Westcott got the win while Brooke Hodges drove in 3 runs. Samantha Clark drove in 2, and Bethany Pigg hit a 2-run homer in the 5th. On Friday, the Wolves played a doubleheader at Lander, only to lose both games to the Bearcats, 5-2 in the first game and 6-3 in the second game. The softball team is now 4-7 on the season and has doubleheaders this weekend at Smith Road Complex against USC Beaufort and the North Greenville University.
Men's tennis took on number 21 Lander on Monday, but fell to Bearcats 7-0. Daniel Watson and Lucas Mrook played a tight doubles match that ended in a 7-5 loss, while Watson and Sethan Reddy fought hard in closely contested singles matches. The men's team will host Emory and Henry for the start of conference play on Saturday. On the women's side, the Wolves dominated Francis Marion 5-2 at home on Monday, taking all 3 double matches and 4 of the 6 singles matches. They repeated on Wednesday by defeating Lander 6-1. They're now heading due west to take on the Erskine Flying Feet.
In lacrosse, the 12th ranked men's team defeated the University of Indianapolis 8-6 Friday evening. They were behind 4-2 at the end of the first quarter, but led 6-5 at the half before closing out with the win. The Wolves traveled to Romeoville, Illinois to face number 11 Lewis University. Lewis built an early lead, but dropped the Wolves 15-8. The lacrosse team is now 4-2 on the season and will travel to Catawba on March 4th. Meanwhile, the women's lacrosse team was at Lander on Wednesday. They trailed 5-1 at the half, but despite a comeback attempt in the second half, the Wolves fell 11-4 on the 25th ranked Bearcats. The women's team is now 3-1 overall, 1-0 in the conference, and will play Converse at home on Saturday.
Men's volleyball lost a pair of road games this week. On Tuesday at Salisbury, North Carolina, the Wolves battled through 3 sets, only to fall 3-0 to Catawba. The Wolves were back in Eleazer Arena to host King University on Thursday. The teams split the first 2 sets, but King took a narrow win in the 5th set. With the final score of 3-2, they'll head to Georgia for a game in Marietta against Life University on Friday. They'll play Fort Valley State on Saturday. Their next home game is against North Greenville next Tuesday.
The women's wrestling team closed out its season at the NCAA Region 3 tournament at Emmanuel, Georgia on Friday and Saturday. Celeste Welch took a 16-15 decision in the consolation bracket, while Irie Edwards opened with a 2-0 performance. Brittany Gordon and Mia Proctor also picked up victories in the tournament.
The acrobatics and tumbling team opened its season against King University in Bristol, Tennessee on Friday. King got an early lead in the compulsory event, but improved throughout the tournament's other events. Despite some strong performances by the Wolves, King pulled out to the win. 228 points, 415 to 172.765. The team will face Coker at Eleazer Arena on Saturday.
And finally, the track and field teams had multiple event wins at the Tyrone College and Open at Mill Spring, North Carolina on Friday and Saturday. Landon Tucker, John Shivers, and Tavarian Thompson took the top 3 in the 300 meters, while Tyler Shoemate and Jordan Kent were the first and second in the 800 meters. The Wolves also won the 4x400 meter relay. On the women's team, Leanna Rose finished second in the 60 meters, and Brianna Thompson and Madeline Williams were first and second in the 60 meter hurdles. Cameron Adderton and Nia Quimby took first and second in the 300 meters. The teams will compete in the SAC Indoor Championship on Saturday.
And as always, don't forget that you can catch up on all the latest news about all your favorite Newberry College teams at newberrywolves.com. You can see schedules and statistics, read highlights from past games, find out how to get tickets to upcoming games, and learn how to get your very own official Wolves merchandise. All this is available anytime, anywhere at newberrywolves.com. And now here's a look at what's coming up for the Wolves in the next week. And that's all for this week. I'm Miguel Hernandez.
And I'm Marissa Boykin. Join us next time for more Wolves Weekly.
Keep up to date on the latest in Newberry College athletics with Wolves Weekly, available on Flow Sports and produced by NCTV-Newberry.